Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. Canopy Growth ousting CEO Bruce Linton earlier this week. He then called into Squawk Box, and he had a lot more to say.
I think the board had decided they wanted a different chair and a different co-CEO, so I'm out effective immediately, and there's a search to replace the transitioning co-CEO.
Bruce, just to be clear, have you been terminated or did you step down on your own? And
I was terminated.
Okay.
So you were fired.
So
there's a lot of words for it.
A lot of words for it. The stock dipping a bit on the news, but rallied within a few hours. Joining us right now on the Squawk Newsline with more on cannabis confidence is Sam Masucci. He's the CEO and founder of ETF Managers Group. The firm has the largest cannabis fund on the New York Stock Exchange, MJ Alternative Harvest ETF. Canopy Growth is in that fund. Our guest hosts, of course, are with us, Ed Lee and Joe Lavorgna as well. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
When you first heard of Bruce getting fired, maybe you were watching Squawk, what was your reaction?
Well, I was watching Squawk, and I was shocked. I've traveled with Bruce. Bruce is extremely knowledgeable in the cannabis space, very well received by investors and with those of interest, so it was surprising to me.
Did the sell-off make sense to you? I mean, do you think he should have been booted? What was your take?
I mean, the sell-off, I think, is the typical knee-jerk reaction, and then actually recovered and was up Wednesday. Right. As far as whether Bruce should have been let go or not, I have no insight there. I have read a lot of the news and even listened to some of the analysts. Look, Bruce is an entrepreneur. He created Canopy in 2013. As I said, he's probably the most knowledgeable person that I have traveled with in the space. I don't think the industry or the company is that mature yet, so I really think you need those types of innovators and pioneers, but that was the board's decision.
At the same time, you know, you invite a major shareholder like Constellation in, and so many other companies, Sam, are doing this as well. Does it make you think that, you know, in the universe of companies that are in your ETF, that there could be more management changes ahead if you do believe that the impetus for Constellation booting Bruce is basically that they wanted somebody more stable, somebody more with more of an execution track record than an entrepreneur like Bruce Linton?
I think it's the natural progression of any new industry and new company. I think we saw a lot of that in Silicon Valley years ago with the starters and entrepreneurs being replaced by more seasoned senior managers. But it doesn't speak to the space. I mean, the space is still growing at a tremendous rate. MJ alone, which is our ETF in the cannabis space, is up almost 28% this year, while we're $1.1 billion in assets. It's a tremendous growth story, and you know, the reality is Bruce was a big part of it, and probably will continue to be in some fashion.
Once the non-compete ends. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your ETF. You started in 2017 at the end of the year with $5.6 million. I think that's when I first talked to you, when you first started this ETF, Sam. Now, as you mentioned, $1.1 billion assets under management. Where did most of those inflows come from, I'm curious? Are they mostly retail investors?
Initially, it was a tremendous or majority flow of retail. We do have a lot of institutions in it now. And so I think it's pretty broadly held. It's just been the best access for people in the U.S. Wanting to get rid of that single stock risk, but wanting access to the space.
Your biggest holding is GW Pharma, which, of course, has the only and the first FDA-approved cannabis-based pharmaceutical on the market. What do you think is a key driver going forward for a lot of the companies in this ETF in terms of growth? I mean, is it going to be the medical side, in your view, or the recreational side?
I mean, the company is tilted, or I should say the ETF is tilted towards medical, but all advancements in the space, whether it be recreational or medical, I think will help the visibility and the interest in the space, and MJ as an ETF. GW was a great story. I mean, the #1 treatment for children's epileptic seizures, FDA approves them. But then you look at some of the other holdings, the Tilray's, Cronus's, Canopy Growth. I mean, that's almost 7.3% of the fund. So it's just the kind of story that people want access to. They see that there's just continues to be growing interest globally in the space, acceptance of cannabis, and it's a great way to play it.
Sam, are you weed only, or are you also involved in CBD?
We have CBD, so we're and in fact, there are great applications of CBD that have also helped the fund and the interest in the fund. But no, we're looking to gather a portfolio. We currently have 41 stocks that includes every company that's important in the space. That includes a Scotts Miracle-Gro, which has been very visible about its investment. We want it to be a comprehensive access to the medicinal side of the cannabis space.